Broadcasting from the hub of Aroostook, you're watching WAGM News Source 8, the late edition.
Good evening, it's Friday, January 3rd. I'm Tom Dufton. You're watching News Source 8, the late edition. We have an update on the threat issued to the Presque Isle High School. We'll get to that story in just a minute, but first let's check in with Ted for a look at the weather on his third night of January. Ted?
Thanks very much, Tom. The third night of January, but you'd never know it by stepping outside. It feels decidedly spring-like out there. Now, there have been a couple of brief, isolated rain showers, and if you get one or got one, you might see localized slick spots later tonight when sky is partially clear, but overall, it's going to be another money-saving night in terms of burning fuel. The end of the warm spell, though, does come this weekend, and I'll pick up the weather story from there when I return shortly.
There's been a development in the case as school is back in session today in Presque Isle. This comes after a serious threat was made to Presque Isle High School yesterday. Attendance was low, with 40% district-wide staying home. I have more on the safety measures the school is taking and where the investigation goes from here. Presque Isle High School may have been open today, but many students missed school after a threatening email sent to the high school principal caused students to be sent home early on Thursday. MS81 Superintendent Ben Greenlaw says he understands.
I respect parents' decisions to keep their kids home today, but ultimately we will keep them safe, and we're going to keep them safe, and it's a job that we take very seriously.
To help the school keep the students safe, there was an increased police presence at the school.
Specifically at the high school, we've had an increased presence, just more, I think, for a comfort level for people to know that this was a serious threat, and we want our school community, but especially our students and our staff, to feel as though they're well taken care of here.
Lori Kelly, the chief of police for Presque Isle PD, says they were able to track the IP address of the threatening email.
And found that is a VPN, which stands for Virtual Personal Network. It's from Europe, but that really means nothing because it's a for-purchase network for gaming or viewing television shows that you don't have access for here or for internet or whatever. Kelly says that while this information may lead to someone, they do not currently have one specific person in mind. I would say that there's a few people that stick out more than others. So we have leads that we're following, but we don't have anybody that we're looking to charge specifically right at this moment. Greenlaw says while this case is ongoing, staff at MS81 will take students' safety very seriously.
We just continue to remain vigilant, continue to, just do everything we can to ensure the safety of our students and staff. I'm hoping that after, a couple of days off over the weekend that we can resume normalcy and get back to teaching and learning being the primary focus, and our students and staff and school community not having to worry about safety here in MS81.
Presque Isle police are still investigating the email, and they say this weekend should provide more of an opportunity to really look things over. Tom Dufton, News Source 8. To help students understand what happened, teachers met with them in small groups to talk it over. Kelly says there will be an increased police presence this weekend at some of the events that are going on at the school. If you have any information on this threat, or you are asked to contact the Presque Isle Police Department. Air service to Presque Isle was the topic of discussion during a presentation on essential air service to the Presque Isle International Airport. Community members from all over the county gathered at the Presque Isle Middle School for the session. Jack Penning, consultant to Presque Isle International Airport, says there is strong support from the community in getting quality air service to Presque Isle.
The City of Presque Isle website has all of this information. It's easy to find. You can find the presentation that we gave tonight. You can also find contact information for the Department of Transportation if you want to send an email and let them know what you think about the airline service here, what you prefer. That's certainly possible. You have until January 17th. In February, we'll know which new carrier will be here, and they'll be starting service in the summer.
The bidding airlines will be in Presque Isle next weekend to answer more questions from the public. We'll have more on this story on the morning edition on Monday. Legislation was recently signed into law that helps better protect endangered animals. The Rescuing Animals with Rewards, or RAR Act, was authored by Republican Senators Susan Collins and Democratic Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon. The bipartisan bill will help protect endangered animals by combating wildlife trafficking and poaching. The RAR Act authorizes the State Department to offer financial rewards for information that leads to the disruption of wildlife trafficking networks.
We had a warden from Africa here a couple of months ago, and that's part of what he does over in Malawi. Is they protect rhinos and elephants, and they use machine guns to do so. I mean, it's real. So if some of the obviously, for there to be an illegal trafficking of wildlife parts, there's got to be a demand for it somewhere.
RAR was largely designed to protect larger species more commonly found in Africa, such as elephants and giraffes, but may also benefit species found in the U.S., while it will help address things like the illegal importation of ivory into the U.S. It may also factor into the illegal exploration of animals products such from North America. Haskell says it wasn't long ago bears were being poached in the United States and body parts shipped illegally to Asia for medicinal purposes. He says the reward services serves as an incentive for others to report such activities. When it's icy, we often use ice to melt it, but the salt can affect our furry friends. Ice melt contains products such as sodium chloride or calcium chloride, which can irritate a dog's paws or be harmful if they ingest it. Betsy Hallett is the manager of the Central Rustic Humane Society, and she says that there are things you can do to keep your pet safe.
You can either get them used to wearing some little dog booties or use the salt that is pet friendly. I know that it will burn them. It will cause them to lick them. They'll get blisters and sores. Technically, there is salt made to de-ice that is pet friendly.
According to AccuWeather.com, if a dog ingests less than 1 ounce of sodium chloride per 2.3 pounds of their body weight, they could die. That means a dog that weighs 4 pounds would only need to eat 2 ounces of ice melt with sodium chloride for it to be fatal. A major renovation is underway at a county hospital. Kathy McCarty met with officials of Northern Maine Medical Center and has more on the multi-million-dollar expansion taking place.
It's been nearly 7 decades since the Fort Kent Hospital, formerly known as the People's Benevolent Hospital, was built. Though other areas of the facility have undergone changes over the years, no renovations have been made to the operating room until now.
This is an amazing opportunity for people in Fort Kent, patients, patrons, and also in the surrounding communities to experience something that other parts of Northern Maine aren't experiencing, to the best of my knowledge currently, or even in the rest of the state, which is a new deliverance of surgical care and endoscopic care to our surrounding area, which is a real modernization of services that we've had in this county.
The 4-story project will cost $12.6 million, covering not only the addition of 15,600 square feet of space, but the purchase of new furnishings and equipment for the newly renovated areas. The primary focus is on surgery and endoscopy services, which, when construction is completed, will be united in one location.
Our endoscopy unit is separate from our surgical suite, and so by combining those 2 units into one location, we're able to offer services more efficiently to our patients. And they know every single time that they're going to come in for a procedure where to go within the facility.
Another benefit is the remodeling of the pre-op and post-op areas, which will enable the hospital to serve patients more efficiently and in greater numbers. There will also be a dedicated transport elevator for patient use, which will help reduce the risk of infection following surgery and other procedures.
We'll have new equipment, new space, everything will be completely redone, new fresh look to everything, able to improve our patient experiences from that perspective. They're coming into a brand new space that looks like a state-of-the-art facility that you would see anywhere in the country.
We hope to have completion hopefully within the year. It would be nice to see things moving in 2020.
The cafeteria will move to the ground floor, and the laboratory will be adjacent to radiology on the first floor. Creation of a gym area will take place on the second floor for the inpatient child psychiatric unit. The third floor will be dedicated for operating rooms and the endoscopy area, with the space they vacate being used for the oncology clinic. Kathy McCarty, News Source 8.
Next week, biologists will be capturing and collaring 130 moose as Maine's survival study for the majestic mammal enters its 6th year and focuses on a new area of study. Maine's moose population fluctuates in response to many factors, including calf birth and adult survival rates, according to Mark Litty of the Maine Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. The study started in western Maine and, in 2016, was expanded to include northern Maine. To date, 475 moose have been captured by helicopter-launched nets and fitted with a GPS collar. These collars remotely track moose movements over time and electronically notify researchers if a moose dies. Adult cows are monitored each spring and summer to determine birth rates and survival rates of calves. For each collared moose, biologists collect detailed health information, including a blood sample, parasite loads, body condition, and winter tick loads. In the coming weeks, Maine's moose biologist Lee Cantor and his team will first be collaring 70 calves in Districts 2 and 8, while another 60 calves will be collared in a new study area located north of Moosehead Lake. Expanding the study, officials say, will provide vital information documenting the impact of winter tick on Maine's moose. With the new year comes the need to register our furry friends again. According to Betsy Hallett, the manager of the Central Rustic Humane Society, people must get their dog licenses by January 31st or else they could pay a late fee and be fined. She adds that it's important because the license fees help to cover some of the other costs.
The money that the towns get and stuff all goes back into paying for animal control and animal welfare and different things like that. So it's cycled back through, and it definitely helped out, with the animals in the end.
Hallett says that if you decide not to license your dog, in addition to fines, you can also be brought to court. Stay with us as we have more coming up. In sports, we'll take a look at a Maine coach who's been doing it for 31 years and has an impressive 400 wins to his name. But first, after the break, Ted will let you know when to expect the next significant snow. His forecast is next. Welcome back. I'm joined by our chief meteorologist, Ted Shapiro, and you were saying that photo's nothing but cool. You had a little pun there.
A little pun there. Beautiful photograph. It was captured during the snow on New Year's Eve by Lavina West. ice harvest going on there. Look at that little blue color you can see at the bottom part of the ice blocks as well. Just gorgeous. Thank you very much, Lavina. Now we will head over to Ted Lines. 25 degrees above normal tonight. That'll save you a couple of bucks. Touch cooler tomorrow, but still very pleasant and still above normal and still light winds. Sunday's going to feel entirely different, and we'll also have a little bit of snow in far southern Aroostook County. Top end that I could see at this point, maybe 2 inches, and up in the valley under an inch or less than an inch. But even a third or a half with temperatures in the 20s could create slick travel on Sunday. Now, there have been a couple of isolated showers tonight. One moved through Halton. We'll track it one more time. There it goes. And in general, roads are wet. So later on, when there's partial clearing, there could be some patchy, slippery spots, but not right now because it's well above freezing and we haven't had any recent cold weather that's chilled the road surfaces, so we are in good shape. Southerly breeze, west-southwesterly breeze rather, at 10 miles per hour. Nowhere close to the freezing mark right now, but again, once the clouds part partially later on, will allow for some radiational cooling, and temps will dip back to the upper 20s to around 30 degrees. Right now, heading west toward the Great Lakes, still holding on to 40 in Toronto, still got a 49 in Pittsburgh, a 50 in Baltimore, and heading west of our area, the coldest we can find is Timmins at 16 degrees. It will be turning colder, but not until later this weekend. Storm 1, the one that looked like it might deliver some plowable snow a few days ago to our area, won't be. It's heading way to our south. There will be, though, a disturbance in the upper levels that will squeeze out a little bit of snow. Again, the snow that I described, just a little bit in the valley, maybe an inch, up to an inch in the Presque Isle Caribou area, and possibly up to 2 in far southern Aroostook County. Of more import is what's going to happen at midweek as low pressure intensifies, moves to the mouth of the Bay of Fundy, and continues to strengthen into the Gulf of St. Lawrence with a lot of wraparound wind that's going to cause blowing snow. Let's take things hour by hour. Sunday, just some light snow that I discussed could actually break out late tomorrow evening or during the overnight hours, pulling away rapidly. We already talked totals. But look at what's going to be going on toward the middle of the week. 2 weather disturbances are going to link up, and anytime we turn on the darker shades of blue, that's heavier snowfall rates. My confidence right now is pretty high for plowable snow on Wednesday, and it's also high, and this is the important part, if a winter storm warning is issued, that pertains to the falling snow, and a lot of people let their guard down, places reopen. We're going to have, if this comes together, we're going to have significant blowing snow Wednesday night and well into the day on Thursday, so do please keep that in mind. Hour by hour precip for tomorrow. Southbounders, just want to let you know that in the afternoon, you might be running into some snow in far southern Maine. No problems here in the county during daylight tomorrow. Before we get to the forecast, I did want to show you what it's going to feel like on Sunday because it's not going to be nearly as cold as it can be at this time of the year. But compared to what we've had to what we have right now, wind chills in this neighborhood will feel quite cold. And that's the way it's going to be at 7 in the morning, and it's going to stay that way right through the day. We're talking single-digit wind chills on Sunday for much of the area right through daylight. Forecast for tonight, unseasonably mild. Once again, there could be some spotty, icy patches once we catch some partial clearing after midnight. Tomorrow, breaks of sunshine, just a wee bit cooler, but tomorrow's average high is 21, so we'll better that by more than 10. Northwest winds at 5. Light snow possible tomorrow night. Upper teens. Winds are going to start to pick up later on, and then Sunday is going to feel a whole lot different than Saturday. Only 11 degrees cooler, but with that wind generating the single-digit wind chill, it's going to be a bit of a shock. Less wind on Monday, 17 for a high, chance for snow showers, milder Tuesday. I've got midweek Wednesday pegged for the storm with blowing snow continuing into the day on Thursday, turning milder on Friday with just a chance for some afternoon snow showers. So the weekend is going to feel quite different one day to the next. The must-get outside day, Tom, is going to be tomorrow. It's going to feel great. Maybe not today's 38, but not bad at all.
No, it's like you said, it's been unseasonably warm, and I'll take Saturday as a get-out day, do all the stuff I need to do. Maybe try some snowmobiling.
That might be fun, too. Give it a shot.
Well, thank you so much, Ted.
You bet.
Make sure to stay with us. We have more coming up.
WAGM's Sports, sponsored in part by Cary Medical Center.
And welcome in for sports. It's Sports Extra Night, and here's a list of winners from the evening. Southern District boys and girls stopped Ashland. Port Fairfield boys over Hodgson. The Presque Isle hockey team stopped Kennebec. Of course, we'll have details and highlights of all of that action tonight on Sports Extra at 11. Also on Sports Extra at 11, we'll have feature stories on the Van Buren boys basketball team. Also on Dave DeMerchant, who's battling cancer and has come back from that to ref once again. And also a story on the Fort Kent Nordic ski team. And here's an update on the Washington Academy Caribou games for tomorrow. JV games have been canceled, and that means a time change for the varsity games. Boys varsity game will now be played at 1. The girls varsity will play at 2:30. Once again, the changes are no JV games. The boys varsity will play at 1. Girls varsity is at 2:30 tomorrow. It's a season for milestones. Jeff Hudson and Larry Gardner have won 400 career games. Tim Brewer won his 300th earlier this week. Last week we talked to Hudson about reaching the 400 win mark. Next week we'll talk to Brewer about winning 300. Tonight Larry Gardner talks about his 31-year career.
You know, I've never played in a game on the floor, any of those 400 plus wins. I take the credit for the losses, but the wins are all about the players, assistant coaches. We've had some great individual players, great teams, and it's all about them.
Gardner spent 9 years coaching the boys, who appeared in 2 state championship games in Class C, and after taking a few years off, returned to the sidelines with the girls 22 years ago. He said he still has his passion for the game.
Passion is huge part of the game. I think those of us who stick around as long as I have, or Jeff Hudson, for instance, you have that passion for the game. You love working with the kids. You love setting goals, seeing them attain those goals.
Gardner has had success with the girls team, including winning a state title back in 2010.
Well, anytime you can win a state championship in anything is special. But that, I think, was extra special for that team, for us as coaches. It's the first gold ball that the school had ever won.
The veteran coach says that one of the most important things for him is seeing his players be successful after high school.
It's great to be around kids and see them grow and mature, reach their goals, and even outside of basketball. You know, when I have players come up to me, I got 3 seniors now, and they say, "Coach, hey, I just got accepted to UNE in the dental program," or "Coach, I'm going to UMPI, I want to be a teacher." Those are really special times, and you see the smile on their face. And
Gardner says that he's received so much support from his family, especially his wife and daughter, and now he's watching his grandchildren play the game he loves.
Now I got a couple of granddaughters who are following the games, going to some tournament games, playing at Tiger basketball camp as well. So it's kind of a family thing, and that makes it extra special.
WAGM's Rainey's Quick Picks, sponsored in part by County Physical Therapy.
It's playoff time, and the quick picks will continue in the final week of the season. It was a hard week for me. I lost bragging rights in my house because my wife, Kelly Fitzpatrick, defeated me by 2 games. We disagreed on 4. She got 3 of them right. That means that I'll hear about it for the next year, including at our Super Bowl party, where I'll be eating some humble pie from our friends. It's now playoff time. That means I'm making picks for the fun of it. I don't have a great feeling about the Patriots game, but I think they will still win over the Titans in Foxborough. I'm taking Houston to stop Buffalo. That should be a close game. Sunday, New Orleans stopping Minnesota, and also Seattle making the trip to Philly and coming out victorious. Enjoy all the action. And here is that playoff schedule. Of course, the games on Saturday. Buffalo and Houston play at 4:30, Tennessee, New England at 8:15. Sunday, the NFC games are being played, Minnesota, New Orleans at 1, and then at 4:40, Seattle and the Eagles will go at it. Don't forget about Sports Extra coming up at 11 o'clock. John Gulliver joins me. Highlights of games, profiles, and much more. That's all at 11. There's more after this.
WAGM's Adopt a Pet, sponsored in part by Terrio Equipment.
Well, we're going to try to get some pets, some new homes tonight, and we're going to start to do it right now. We're going to meet Melly, a gorgeous 4-month-old kitten. Boy, what a beauty. She's a quiet and shy girl who's getting used to humans and shows great promise at becoming a wonderful, loving cat. She's spayed, brought up to date on her vaccinations, and cleared of any parasites. Please visit Valley Cat Haven during open hours on Tuesday from 1 to 3 and Saturday, that's tomorrow, folks, from 11 to 1, or call Jean at 543-7348 for an appointment.
And up here we have Muttley, who is a 4-year-old pit mix who is neutered, housebroken, and up to date on vaccines. He's a sweet boy who needs to be the only pet since he can be protective of his food and toys. He would do best in a home with no children under the age of 13. For more information, please visit the Central Aroostook Humane Society or call 764-3441.
Reminded me a bit of the Little Rascals dog. Dating myself a bit. Smokey and Jewel are 10-year-old siblings living at a halfway home pet rescue foster home. These gorgeous cats have been together since birth, and they're very, very bonded. Their loving owner had to be moved to a nursing home, and the cats are hoping they'll be adopted together. They're clean, sweet, quiet, and very, very loving. All their medical work has been completed. If interested, in adopting them, please go to the Halfway Home Pet Rescue Facebook page and fill out the adoption application. For more information, call 999-1075.
And now we've got a trendy new breakfast that's taken the world by storm.
Indeed, Mr. Food says it's super easy, very different, and it's served in a bowl.
If you're like many Americans, this time of year you're looking for ways to eat better, feel better, and lose weight. So with that in mind, I want to introduce you to something that we recently came across that we thought was worth sharing. It's called overnight oats, and it goes together like this. Now, rather than cooking our oatmeal, we simply place our dry oats in a bowl along with some milk, a few add-ins and spices, and let it sit in the fridge overnight. And when it comes to options, there are no limits. Look how easy it is to create carrot cake oatmeal, which is simply some oats mixed with grated carrots, raisins, a few spices, almond milk, maple syrup, and a splash of vanilla. How easy is that? If you love peanut butter and bananas, then you'll love how we team them with our oats. If strawberry shortcake is one of your favorites, then you'll love waking up to a bowl of oatmeal that tastes just like it. To get all of these quick and easy favorites, all you have to do is go to our website and look for the recipe of the day, which includes carrot cake overnight oats, the peanut butter banana oatmeal, and our chilled strawberry shortcake oatmeal bowl. Let me tell you, this is really good. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a healthy and easy way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
Now that looks really good.
I think I'd sign up for the strawberry shortcake version. They all looked good, though. You're right about that.
Well, thank you so much, Ted, and thank you for tuning in tonight. Make sure to tune in to WAGM this morning on Monday at 5:30 and 6 for all of us here at WAGM. We also have Sports Extra coming up at 11. Have a great weekend.